All right, I see it's time to call to order the 10 July Community Police Advisory Board. With that, I'd like to do a roll call. It looks like we have Board Member Mello and Board Member Weigenstein missing today, and everybody else is present. Okay. All right, everybody get a chance to read the agenda. You have it in front of you there. Thank you, Meg, for making that available to us. If there are no objections, and just suggest we approve the agenda. If there's no objections, it's unanimous approval.
If we need a motion, I move that we approve it.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I second that.
Okay. I'd like to also approve the minutes for this evening. Can I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make the motion. Approve the minutes.
And I'll second it.
Okay, that motion carries.
Do you-
Is there anybody opposed to approving the minutes? It passes. Thank you. Yeah. All right, now we're in the public comment area. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to make public comment? Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 5, introduction of Captain Kevin Barton.
Mr. Hunt, just really quick, I'd like to just note that there were 2 public comments
Oh,
received
yes.
by email, and those were forwarded to the board.
We did get a copy of those. Thank you, Ms. Massey. Is there any discussion on the content of both of those or either of those emails?
I actually did have a question on the one from Robert.
Robert.
I'm just wondering if I actually get mine out here because I highlighted what he wants. He's requesting the advisory board collaborate with the city and county officials to find ways to facilitate the temporary custody and transfer of wanted persons confirmed by other jurisdictions for extraditable crimes. Is that something that we even have power to do?
No.
Good question.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for the question and the clarification from Chief. Any more comments or questions on those public emails we received? Hearing nothing, I will now move on to number 5 and look forward to meeting Captain Barton.
All right. Well, I think I've met everybody here, but I'll introduce myself. My name is Kevin Barton. I'm here with the Oak Harbor Police Department. Started here back on the 21st of June. Been in law enforcement for just under 23 years. Done a little bit about everything, but really I'm very excited to be a part of this community and being able to engage with everybody here. So I look forward to being a part of these meetings and being able to move the ball forward for the organization and for the city. So thank you very much for allowing me to be here.
Thank you, Captain. We're happy to have you here, and I think you're really going to enjoy the community and the force here.
Thank you very much.
All right. Community survey discussion. Number 7 says a community survey discussion. Was someone going to facilitate that, or?
Yeah, I'm
Oh.
happy to do that.
Yes, well, I'm sorry, thank you, Ms. Powers. I've jumped to number 6. So we did get the calendar for the next year of meetings. Is our role here to evaluate that and just see if that works with everybody's schedule?
It was decided you'd try this time slot and see if it worked for everybody and just take a look at it a couple of months down the road and make sure it still worked.
Does anybody have any questions or discussions about that tentative future meeting schedule? Yeah, it's fine. I mean, we'll have to play it by ear, I guess. But initially, it looks fine to me. All right, now, let's try to do number 7.
Okay, Chief Slowick, I am here to go over the community survey on public safety and law enforcement. This is the survey as we are recommending to move forward to City Council. The survey, the only change that we'll have is we added 3 questions, 29, 30, and 31 to the survey. They're just not in the right place. We just didn't have time to place them where we want to in the survey. So they'll most likely fall under in the community involvement section of the survey. But they'll be the same questions.
Chief Slowick, I went through this with my red pen,
Yeah.
and I do have a bunch of recommendations for
Certainly.
it.
Perfect.
I think that I probably need to hand it to somebody for most of them.
Okay.
But the one part on page, well, it's official page 1, it's the second page, that talks about you may come into contact with multiple law enforcement agencies, blah, 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 blah. There's actually no place in the survey that says anything other than Oak Harbor Police Department. So you already figured that out.
I tried to go through and eliminate it just in case I hadn't hit everything.
Yeah,
That's why
so I
left that
don't think we
comment
need to
in there.
have that, I don't think we need to have that in there.
Thank you.
And then I have a question on safety, question number 6.
Okay.
2 of the choices there are domestic violence and sexual assault/rape, and they both say adult afterwards, and I'm wondering why we need to specify adult there.
Is it not because it says child sexual predators and internet safety and child abuse earlier? Like,
I believe you're
Which
talking.
is different, though, than domestic violence.
Yeah.
Those are the specific questions that were put out through the Department of Justice, meaning that specific term. I believe it's because as we do reporting to the FBI and our NIBRS reporting, that's what they're looking at is that adult the crimes. So for us, I believe that's adult perpetrator, but we'll look into that more.
Okay.
Yeah.
The results of these surveys, do they get plugged in somehow to some kind of form? It's just for us,
It
right?
is-
For you, for
This
the
is
police
strictly for
department.
us. Yeah, so this is a couple things. One, it's strictly for us and our community. So one, it's going to be used in our strategic plan and our strategic plan development. It's going to be used in how we deploy our resources and trying to gain information on how our community would like to be policed and interactions they like to have with our law enforcement. It's also used in our budgeting process and putting together our budget proposals as well. So, this is the importance of us getting it out now is that we are moving into a different budget cycle, and it's a 2025, 2026 2-year budget cycle, and we do have community survey as one of the pieces in gaining information on how people are feeling. So,
I definitely appreciate that. As a community member, if I were reading this and answering these questions, maybe I'm weird, but I would wonder why we're specifying adult in those 2 things. So
Sure.
I would like, if
we'll
possible, to
look
have
into
that
that and
taken
find
out.
out the reason why it was that. Yep.
Okay, perfect. And then the other things that I have are just either formatting or just punctuation.
No problem.
Spelling department is spelled incorrectly several times throughout. So I'd be happy to just give you my red line copy.
Sounds great. Is there any other input on the questions? And not my dyslexia. No, just joking.
So I'm sorry, I'm weighing in on this. I'm not sure how much this really matters, but I think that these are listed in alphabetical order under safety as part of the issue. So I'm wondering if you couldn't move sexual assault over or move child sexual predators and child abuse over. I suspect those are the distinct categories. Does that make sense?
So you're asking to group them together based off of the types of
Kind of the
crimes?
topic or, yeah.
Sure, okay.
Yeah,
That's fine.
that might be a way to.
Yep.
But don't you think child abuse is different than I mean,
Yeah.
child sexual predators to me is different than domestic violence. Domestic violence can happen to adults and children.
Yeah, I
But-
just think child abuse is above that.
Oh, I see.
So and that's what it is. It's referring to the adult.
Gotcha.
And maybe not the adult victim, I believe, is what it's referring to.
Gotcha.
I'm just thinking if you move them closer together, does that make sense? Then
Yes.
the distinction might be more clear, that's all.
Yes, that does make sense.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Chief Slowick, what is I know we're on a timeline for this because it has to go to City Council
It does.
next week?
So we would like to do it at the workshop, be able to get it to city council at the workshop, so that at National Night Out, we'd be able to have the survey going.
Great.
Is there any other input?
Any more comments on the survey? All right, thank you for those thoughtful comments. Let's move on to number 8. You can discuss.
I have one quick question. We make the changes as recommended. Do you guys want to see the survey again before it goes to city council, or are you happy with the recommended changes so far?
I think we can make those recommendations our official recommendations, and if those are carried out,
Okay.
I think that would be fine.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So, Chief Slowick, I definitely think, I know you added these on and you want to move them, but I definitely think that number 29 and 30, maybe even number 31, should be very early in the survey. Yeah, okay,
100% agree.
okay.
All right, last chance. Any more comments on the survey? All right. Let's move on and talk about cameras on Pioneer Way.
Okay, this item was brought up at the last CAB meeting. The follow-up to this is two things. One is that I met with Oak Harbor Main Street Executive Director Margaret Livermore. There is a Verizon grant that we're looking at applying for the city. Additionally, we're looking at some other grant opportunities with some funds so that businesses can apply for a camera system that is funded through the grant. The business then would take ownership of the device, have it installed, work with law enforcement to make sure that it's pointed in the correct directions that are needed to protect the property and proper viewing, and then would sign an agreement if you applied and received the grant to provide that video to law enforcement during criminal investigations. So we're working through that right now. There is going to be some legal review that would need to happen with our city attorney, but once we secure some funding, we'll be able to put that in place. So.
Thanks for the update, Chief. We'll look forward to seeing how that turns out. Good luck with that. National Night Out, is there any new news to report there?
So National Night Out is moving forward. We do have food trucks that I believe there's 9 food trucks that we've secured for the venue. We know that there's probably about 30 entries so far that we've been notified that are happening. Our plan is to make sure that you guys are available to be, if you're able to be available for the event. There's not going to be a booth for CAB at all, but you'll be able to just walk around and talk to members. I know that we're working on getting your name tapes done, and then we have some shirts that we're handing out as well to make sure that everybody has that. Officer Adamson is our school resource officer, is the person that's running the event, so it does go from 4 to 7. But we're pretty excited. We also have a radio station that's showing up as well. So. Just a quick update. And then aside from that, we are going to have a table at the farmer's market on Thursday. So if anybody would like to participate at the farmer's market, we'll be down there at this month, and then also at the farmer's market next month. This month's farmer's market is on Southeast Pioneer Way, and it's on Thursday. It's only 3 months this year, and so it's whatever, the second Thursday of the month. So it's this Thursday that's coming up in 2 days, and it's on Southeast Pioneer Way.
I'm sorry, please repeat so in July, it's on Pioneer Way. It's in August, it's where?
I don't recall, it's where? Windjammer Park in August.
Thank you. I should ask what time that is.
Is it 4 to 6? Yeah. Starts at 4 o'clock. So, and I know that it goes from Dock Street to Southeast Ireland. That's the section of the roadway that's closed off. I don't know exactly where we'll have the Ford Lightning out there, so our electric truck. So that'll be an easy way to figure out where we're at.
Can we disseminate surveys during National Night Out? I mean, is that something we could be doing that's useful as having paper copies of the survey?
Definitely, yeah. I believe we're going to have QR codes set up as well. This will be online. That would probably be the preferred method, but just easier to collect the data that way. But any paper copies that we have, we'll disseminate that as well. The intent is that once we collect this data, it'll then be available on our website for viewing. So.
Can we get flyers like those little cards that we had that were talking about National Night Out, but to hand out for National Night Out with the QR code on it saying, hey, here's the survey?
Yeah, we can do it on a business card or something like that.
That'd be perfect. Thank you.
All right, thanks, everybody. We're looking forward to that. I've been to almost every one for the last 10 years, and they are very good events and very well attended too. A lot of good information. If we're done with that, it looks like now is our time if there's any comments from the board or anybody else.
I just want to say, Kim, thank you so much for taking great notes. I appreciate the minutes. They're very thorough.
You guys stole what I was going to say. I just wanted to publicly recognize Miss Massey and her efforts in keeping this organized and getting the paperwork to us and keeping us on our toes. So thank you very much. There's no more comments. Looks like number 11, we're looking at future agenda items. When are we planning on the SRO presentation? Has that been determined?
So Officer Adamson was not available today. He is attending the National School Resource Officer Conference next week. He will be at the August, he'll be the presenter at our August meeting.
Thank you.
I have a question about Neighborhood Watch.
Okay.
Is that something that the police department finds valuable?
Definitely. I think it is very valuable. Our challenge is being able to support the Neighborhood Watch program. There are a few Neighborhood Watch organization or groups that are still somewhat active. We haven't had a person staffed in that position in a while. And when I mean a while, probably about 3 years. And that was just a decision previously made by the police department. I think that we're very much looking forward to staffing that up and providing more opportunities to grow that Neighborhood Watch program again. For us to do that would be getting our staffing up to a level where we can support a person who is is not in a patrol response setting, but is able to provide some of that community outreach and community safety conversations. So right now, we just don't have that position staffed, and it's due to us having a lot of people in training trying to just become police officers. So,
Is there a possibility that grant money could be used for that type of position?
there always is a possibility for that. So when we talk about staffing for grant money for staffing, the city did apply for a Department of Justice grant for 5 positions, 5 new positions on top of what we currently have. We are fully funded for up to 29 positions right now. The challenge is we turned over 1/3 of our department since October. And so getting new employees in, getting them through, almost 5 months of the basic law enforcement academy and then 3 months of field training on top of the recruitment process, which can take anywhere between 3 and 6 months to get them just in the door. You're looking at a little over a year before you start seeing some fruits of your labor. And so we're very excited because we currently have 4 people that are in our field training program right now. One of them is scheduled to complete field training and be on independent patrol on a squad as early as about the second week of August. And then we should start seeing people, by the end of August, another person, and then a couple more people in early September. So I think we're very close to start seeing our staffing growing and then being able to accommodate more community outreach opportunities. The other challenges we have are people get injured, people have family leave, those type of things, and so we're starting to see an influx of that. And so we're really trying to make sure we're supporting officers and staff with the support that they need to take care of their families, take care of themselves, so they can come back to work and being able to support our community. So.
Thank you.
I think that was a great question. And I know what Neighborhood Watch is only vaguely because I've seen signs. What does that program actually look like and what kind of manpower does it require from the police department perspective? It's not like a full-time position.
It's not. It's usually a community outreach position that we have. In the past, we've always staffed it with a commissioned officer. I was in that role for a while. At one point, we had over 29 neighborhood watch areas in the city, which was very, very fruitful. It provided a lot of interactions with law enforcement, a lot of proactive opportunities where the community was able to prevent crime based off of the communication they're having in their neighborhoods and just that interaction where they just didn't sit by and allow things to happen. They if there was a problem, they talked with each other and talked with neighbors. And, if it's things like, hey, lock your doors or whatever concerns, it was very helpful there. From the police department side, it really is just one person that is able to be that focal point and provide training to those neighborhoods. Identify who those block commanders are, because those block commanders or block captains are the ones that facilitate their neighborhood involvement, and then they bring law enforcement in as they see is needed. There are some requirements, monthly meetings, having a certain attendance in your neighborhood, getting a percentage of your neighborhood that you're going to make into a neighborhood watch, agreeing into buying into the program, and so there's some little heavy lift things that just initially have to happen, and then it's a support piece. So often for us, that person will fill that neighborhood watch role. They also probably will supervise our volunteers. We currently aren't running volunteers because we don't have that position filled as well. They would probably be doing things with more community outreach, like our Citizen Academy, those type of things. So there are a lot of community outreach opportunities. Yeah.
I actually had a question for our fellow board members. Did anyone make it to the graduation of the Citizens Academy we were invited to? Oh, Steve, I really wanted to go, but I couldn't make that. You must have been there, Chief, right?
Definitely, yeah.
Would you like to share that? I mean, how many graduates did we have?
So I believe we had, was it 13? I believe we were at 13 is what we had for graduates. It was a great group of people. I think that they were highly motivated, and they all spoke highly of running the program and continuing the program. They were very appreciative of the police staff's time, and not only police department, but dispatch and the coroner and fire department, and just other agencies that came in to support the Citizen Academy. I think one of the pieces that we're going to want to try to figure out when this, maybe QR code goes out is there enough interest in running a fall academy? And if so, I think if we can get at least 12 people, that I think it'd be very beneficial for our community to be able to do that again.
So personally, I would really like to do the academy, and I think it would be good for this board to do it, which would be, if that's half the number or
Yeah.
close to half the number, if we could pull that off. I'm just
Okay.
throwing that out there.
All right, well, that's great.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I really, like I said, I really wanted to go to that, and I definitely will try to make it the next one.
Yeah, I
And
think,
thanks for the invitation, too.
definitely. I think one of the things that came out of Citizen Academy is that we are going to try to do 2 or 3 times a year, sort of an update class. It's like a 1 day on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So anybody that's a graduate of Citizen Academy, we'd reach out to those people and say, hey, we're doing a legal update, or we're doing a, patrol procedures update or something like that, where we can bring everybody in that wants to meet past graduates, and then also get a little more input on updates that are going on with the police academy as we just continue that communication and relationship.
Very well, thank you.
So it might be valuable to have graduates of the Citizens Academy come talk to us, to put that on the future agenda and tell us, especially if we have not gone through it, not just so that we know what's taking place, but that those people might also be people that would like to serve on this board in the future. So
Great idea.
we might just put that as a future agenda item.
It's added, thank you.
Thank you.
And when you said that with the QR code, does that go as as an additional question in the survey?
Yeah, that was one thing that we were looking at, is looking at how we can get more input on people's interest in Citizen Academy. And through this, if they complete the survey, we're thinking about, especially the online one, if you want to provide information on future contact for Citizen Academy or updates, then you'd be able to provide your information.
Yep, I think that would be brilliant to ask if there would be interest, if they'd have an interest in that.
Perfect. I'll say then it's my idea. Then.
You can take that idea because you already did.
Very well. Any more comments from the board or anybody else about what we discussed today and what we talked about? All right, if there's no objection, I will adjourn the meeting at 4:45.